Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
13 junior ministers to be sworn in this afternoon. Reactions to reappointment of Juliet Holness as House Speaker. And later in sports, Jamaica attained 2 more medals at World Championships.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. In about an hour, the newly appointed state ministers will take the oath of office at a ceremony at King's House. As you'll hear in this report, there are 13 appointees. Janella Precious has our first story.
The junior ministers represent a combination of old faces and new. Kerencia Morrison is the new junior minister in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Krista Lee, Health and Wellness. Former Kingston Mayor Delroy Williams, Local Government and Community Development. Rhoda Moy Crawford, Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Donovan Williams, Labour and Social Security. And Tova Hamilton, Tourism. The reappointees include Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, National Security and Peace. Delano Seabright has been shifted from tourism to industry, investment and commerce. Alando Terrelong, Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Xavier Main, Finance and the Public Service. Frank Witter, Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Former House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple Philibert is the junior minister in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Senator Abka Fitz-Henley, Office of the Prime Minister. Additionally, Senator Marlon Morgan is to be appointed Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. The new appointees in particular is seen as a strategic move by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who acknowledged this week that there are cabinet ministers who may not fulfill the entire term.
This third term will also be about seamless succession and transition planning. And you would have seen this as a number of our ministers have indicated their timelines, ensuring that there is significant renewal in leadership, thinking, and approaches.
In terms of who these members are,
I see Minister Vaz looking on in surprise. He was the first to indicate his timeline. DPM has indicated his timeline. Minister Granger here and others. And in the days to come, I'm certain you will hear more indications of timelines.
He went further.
Organizations can only grow, remain relevant, if they renew. And the organization that I lead is in the process of renewing without disruption. But we'll do it in a balanced way.
Janella Precious, TVJ News.
The leader of opposition business has given further insight into the opposition's disapproval of the government's selection for House Speaker. In an unprecedented move, the opposition did not support her nomination yesterday. Details in this report.
Leader of opposition business in the House of Representatives, Philip Paulwell, says the opposition sent a clear message in its objection against Juliet Holness as House Speaker. Mrs. Holness, who is Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, was re-elected Speaker of the House of Representatives yesterday, but her nomination was not seconded by the parliamentary opposition. Speaking yesterday on Beyond the Headlines, Mr. Paulwell said the opposition has concerns about Mrs. Holness being the Speaker, given issues during her last term in the post.
We do not believe it now appropriate, having seen Mrs. Holness perform as Speaker, especially in relation to certain issues affecting the Auditor General's Department, Integrity Commission, and the whole business of impartiality of the Speaker. And I believe that we have to do some reforms now about the way the Speaker conducts him or herself as the impartial arbiter in Parliament. And having signaled to the government that, we were not in support of it. And that was done from last year's budget presentation when the Prime Minister walked up to the House. We figured that there would have been an effort towards compromise this time around and to select a different speaker.
And the Advocates Network says the return of Mrs. Holness as House Speaker is distressing. Member of the network, Patricia Donald Phillips, argues that the decision is ill-advised as it disregards responsible governance, citizen and civil society concerns, the psychology of governance, and creates barriers to transparency and accountability.
Just seeing how the furor that this appointment had made when it was just done, how it is now, as it is totally dismissed. There's a sense of just a total disregard for and a lack of respect for those who have severe concerns about the concentration of power and the proximity to power that now occurs when spouses control the two highest offices in governance in our country.
Mrs. Donald Phillips stressed that the pushback against this appointment should not be seen as an attack on the Speaker's personal integrity, but rather as a concern about how it could potentially undermine good governance and the public interest. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
To other news, the Area 5 police are investigating the circumstances surrounding a brazen gun attack which left one man dead and 4 others hospitalized. And we do apologize to that technical glitch. We'll come back to that story. Continuing the news, 2 men were rushed to hospital following a collision along the Longwood Main Road in St. Elizabeth Thursday. According to reports, about 6:30 p.m., the men were traveling on a motorcycle from Santa Cruz towards Goshen when the rider attempted to overtake a line of vehicles. One of the vehicles stopped to allow the driver of a white Honda CR-V to turn right into Longwood Estate. That's when the motorcycle crashed into the right side of the SUV. Both men were flung from the motorcycle, sustaining injuries. Now they were taken to hospital for treatment. The driver of the CR-V also received injuries and was transported to a medical facility. Their conditions remain unknown at this time.
Coming from down that end there, Santa Cruz, yes, to turn into the scheme to take my daughter home and stop to give the traffic proceeding to Santa Cruz time to pass. So the traffic coming behind me stopped, and the bike man coming from way behind the traffic, they overtake the entire line of the traffic and just came up as I'm turning, because the traffic now flowing to Santa Cruz past, and I'm turning into the scheme, and it just run right in the side.
Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says his office is looking into ways to improve gullies. This after recent flooding in Montego Bay left several vehicles underwater. The areas include Catherine Hall, which is known for flooding. Mr. Vernon says he is currently working with the representatives to fix the issue as the Atlantic hurricane season is still active.
The water that is in the drain is at the same level as the Pie River water. Their recommendation is that we do cleaning of the Pie River, and that is what we will now have to look at. So when I get back to the office, I will have to speak with my superintendent to do an estimate for that to be done, and then we will undertake works. We also observed that the roadway being used as a bypass for the current construction happening in the Catherine Hall roadway, the Theodore Whitmore Drive, that roadway needs some repair to deal with the traffic, to improve the efficiency of the traffic within that space. And the superintendent will be addressing that matter immediately.
A tire shop operator has been left to pick up the pieces after his business was destroyed by fire Tuesday morning. Mickey Morris says he has been operating along the I-95 in Portmore for the past 13 years. He says both trucks, which served as the base for the tire operation, were burnt, resulting in damages estimated at over $15 million. Mr. Morris said this isn't the first time someone has tried to rob the business.
Tuesday morning, 12:40 to 1 o'clock, get a call out of my bed, so the place under fire. People come at the fire station, call them say they don't have a fire truck. Spanish Town come give her a hand and town. But other people come out and try to take out some time and everything, but God knows best. We not give up. Shop will still open. And we are come stronger and stronger and stronger, and they cannot stop it. All them broke and burned down, they cannot stop it.
So they've been breaking the place?
Yeah man, over 5 times the shop break.
The principal of Old Harbour High in St. Catherine is taking issue with the shift system, which is still in effect for 26 schools across Jamaica.
When I saw a boy coming in yesterday at 15 minutes past 9 o'clock and school start at 7 o'clock, and when I said to the young man, "Why are you late?" he said, "Sir, my mother left the house at 6 o'clock and she did wake me up before she left. But sir, after she left, I went back to sleep."
Ware says he has communicated his issues with the system and was given a 2028 timeline from the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education for Old Harbour High School students to be removed from shifts.
To get off the shift system, we are going to need a new school. So there is up by Colbeck, there will be a school. 3 schools will be built in the Colbeck area: a high school, a primary school, and an early childhood school. Because we cannot take any additional building. So it's a new school that will be built to get us off the shift system.
It is now time for a break, but please stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. We now return to an earlier story where the Area 5 police are investigating the circumstances surrounding a brazen gun attack which left 1 man dead and 4 others hospitalized. The community of Waterford in Portmore came under heavy gunfire Thursday night after a group of men were attacked last evening. Dead is 21-year-old Jesse James. 4 others have been hospitalized, 3 in serious but stable condition and the other is considered critical. TVJ News understands sometime after 9 o'clock, the men were sitting along the roadway in the Waterford community when a white Toyota Oxio motor car drove up. It's understood that 3 men alighted from the vehicle firing several shots. When the shooting subsided, several persons were discovered suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to hospital and James died while undergoing treatment. The police have launched an investigation into the incident. Now, no motive has been established for the killing. It is now time for the Business Minute.
Labour and Social Security Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says the government will prioritise training and upskilling of the workforce, streamlining the fixed-term contract system and tightening the overseas employment programme during this term. He also confirmed that the long-awaited occupational safety and health legislation will be passed this year, calling it critical to boosting productivity. Now further afield, it looks like TikTok will stay in the USA. A deal to sell the majority of the platform's US assets to American investors is expected to be finalized between President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. This proposal will allow TikTok to stay operational in the US. During the Biden administration, a bipartisan bill that banned TikTok unless it handed over at least 80% of its assets to US operators made it through Congress. But President Trump halted the ban several times while a deal was pursued. Since nothing has been finalized, the terms of the apparent agreement have not been disclosed. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Nikinsky Robinson.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
The United Nations has condemned last week's deadly attack in Cabaret, Haiti, which killed at least 40 people, including children and the elderly. The attack forced over 4,700 people to flee, with most seeking refuge in nearby cities. The International Organization for Migration reports that 23% have taken shelter in schools. US President Donald Trump has suggested that some TV networks should have their licenses taken away in support of the Federal Communications Commission's criticisms of ABC. The network suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after his comments about last week's murder of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. The suspension has again raised concern about free speech in the United States. Kimmel had speculated that the suspect was a MAGA Republican. And those were some of the top regional and international stories.
And we take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.